So hopefully I can just leave it like this. I'll be talking about, you know, chaos and humiliation and drama. You know, Jezebel loves chaos, drama, and, you know, humiliation. You know, that's what Jezebel is obsessed with, humiliating people. When it comes to shame, you know, public shame or like any type of shame, they want you to feel so ashamed of yourself and they don't want you to use your voice. So it's so important to know how to deal with that. When you probably feel like you're in a good season and, you know, Jezebel tries to bring drama to your door, I'm going to show you how to find solutions, how to, you know, set boundaries, because especially if you grew up in a you know, abusive environment, or you've gone through spiritual abuse or physical abuse, or you've been through, you know, physical abuse, sometimes being a people pleaser and you end up feeling like you don't know yourself and you have identity issues, you have issues with fear, and sometimes you're just not aware of it. You're not aware that you have the wound. And some people go into rebellion. You know, they go through abuse and they go through rebellion, and they start to humiliate themselves, and they go down a dark path. And that doesn't have to be you. You just have to understand why they do the things they do, why they play games. Some Jezebels, they play games, they play mind games, they're bitter, they're resentful, they're very bitter, they feel ashamed of themselves, and they feel so embarrassed, and they're trying to push it on somebody else because they feel ashamed, they feel like they're missed out. And a lot of Jezebels, it started off with spirit of rejection. It started off with them feeling ashamed, feeling left out, feeling hurt, and it manifests into a Jezebel spirit because they didn't get the healing and deliverance. So it's so important to know that some people are church hurt, some people have been through abuse, but they didn't do nothing about it. They just sat there and thought, oh, I show them, and they end up being bitter and trying to prove people wrong, and that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to prove people wrong and say, oh, look at me, look at me. You're supposed to heal and help other people not to go down that path. You know, it's so important to be like Naomi and give good advice. Don't sabotage people, because some people are so bitter. Some people are very bitter and they want other people to suffer with them. Like, oh, you're going down with me. I embarrassed myself. I humiliated myself. I went down the wrong path. You're going down with me. You're going down with me. They have that mentality that, oh, I ruined my life. I ruined my life down with me. Some people have that mentality. They got their life screwed over, and they made mistakes, and they have that mentality like, you are going down with me. You are going down with me. They have that revenge. They want revenge. Cheated. They feel bitter, and they have that mentality that, oh yeah, you're going down with me. I'm bitter. I don't like my life. You're going down with me. So it's so important to set boundaries from now. Don't become hurt and bitter and go down the same path they're going down. When you get hurt, when you get hurt, be honest with yourself. You felt embarrassed, you felt ashamed, you felt unheard, and accept that. Get the healing you need. Get the healing you need. Some people are in denial. They start in there and be a bit. They get bitter and they start to be rebellious. They start to be in rebellion and they start to get very bitter because it didn't turn out the way they wanted to do. Their life turned out rubbish, and they feel bitter. But there's no such thing as too. It's not too late. Even if you've gone through abuse and shame and you lost a lot of people and you got betrayed, it's not the end. Some people are so bitter, they lost a lot of things, and now they're sitting there thinking, why did I humiliate myself? Why was I? Oh, this was just. They look at their life and think, oh, I was trauma bonded. This is a trauma bond. Even some churches, they're thinking, oh my gosh, I was trauma bonded. Like, these people don't even like me. And they feel embarrassed, they feel ashamed, they feel like they waste their life. And they sit there and think, this was witchcraft. I had job issues, I had financial issues, I had issues with my family, I went through betrayal. And they're just thinking, oh, now I know that I've wasted my life with these people. And it's embarrassing, because some people, they don't learn how to heal, and accept that, thinking, oh, I made mistakes. I was naive, I was passive, I was an Ahab, letting Jezebel have its way, and they learn the lesson, they heal and move on. But some people, they're victims right now. They're, poor me. I've done all this. I turn a blind eye. I Ahab for them, and they didn't. I didn't get rewarded. And you're not supposed. You're not going to be rewarded for being Ahab. You're not going to get rewarded for being Ahab. You don't get rewarded for being Ahab. God don't like sin. He doesn't like injustice. God doesn't like injustice. He doesn't like sin. So you're walking around trying to be a people pleaser and getting burnt out, getting worn out. People are just depressed, miserable because they try to live for the Jezebel's approval. And Jezebel's approval will not come. They're very entitled, they're empty. It'll never be enough. You could do so much for them and they'd still do the emotional witchcraft saying, oh, person did this for me, you can't do that. And they start talking about what people have done for them to make you feel guilty. They start pulling your heartstrings and they try to make you feel guilty because they're empty. They're very empty. What you do for them is, if you're looking for approval of man, you got to stop. It's going to burn out. It's going to turn to burnout because some people have depression, they have mental illnesses, they're worn out, they're burnt out because they're trying to approve man. You're trying to get approval from man instead of pleasing God. And I'm getting worn out, everyone's getting depressed, they're getting worn out because they're not getting the fuel from the Holy Spirit. They're getting it for they want supply, they want fuel, they want approval from Jezebel. Look at me, I turned a blind eye to your sin. Please reward me. They have that mentality, oh please reward me. I die, please reward me. And Jezebel's like, that's not enough. You're not doing enough. That's what Jezebel does. It's like, oh, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. And people get burnt out, they get depressed. They're trying to please a human being more than God. And they're having mental illness problems. They're getting worn out, they're getting bitter, they're getting overlooked because they're trying to get approval from man. They're trying to get approval from man. Oh, they don't appreciate me. I gave so much money to the church. I gave so much money to the church, and they gave so much money to the church. Oh, I did this, I did that, and they just feel really burnt out because they gave so much money to the church. They served hours and hours, even when it felt drained. That's people pleasing. That's not being kind. That's just being like nice and you're trying to get approval, and they feel so bad because they feel drained out because, oh, I tried to please the pastor, I tried to please the leader. I feel burnt out, I feel depressed, but they're not praying, they're not fasting. They're just trying to seek approval because they feel empty, they have the orphan spirit. Maybe they're the black sheep of the family and they're trying to be part of a church family because they felt like they're the black sheep of the family and they felt invisible. And they thought, oh, if I go to this church, I'm going to feel seen. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that for everybody, and end up being a Cinderella because they felt empty with their family. And they thought, oh, this is my new clique, this is my new family. But no, you can't have that mindset. You can't have that mindset. You have to put God first. That void that you're trying to fill, oh, I haven't got a relationship, I haven't got a relationship with my family, I don't have a partner, so I'm going to be part of a church, I'm going to get close to them. No, you have to put God first. Because some people, they're not looking for friendship. They're looking for your money. They want your pockets. They want your money. And people get so offended because they feel, oh, I put my heart and soul with the pastor. I gave them money. I gave them everything. But you're not supposed to give them everything. You're supposed to just put God first. God is everything. And then you can help others and have a servant heart. You can be a servant. But when it comes to serving and stuff like that, it's so important to put God first, because if you're like, oh, I'm going to do this for the pastor, I'm going to do that for the leader, and you have that mentality that, oh, everyone's going to see me, glowing and shining, I'm going to prove them wrong, then you're going to feel worn out because you're doing it for man instead of God. It's so important to know that. So, yeah, it's true what you said, Wendy. Not all pastors are chosen by God. Exactly. Some people get so offended. Oh, the pastor didn't pick me. I wasn't chosen. I wasn't appreciated by my pastor. You are chosen by God. You don't need their approval. You don't need their approval. So it's so important to know that, and it's so important to know that you are chosen by God, and you don't need their approval. You don't need to start saying, oh, if I gave more money, they'll see me. If I spent more time serving, and lose my job, maybe they'll see me. There's even some Jezebels have unrealistic expectations. They have unrealistic expectations. They want people to be worn out, and if you're not worn out, if you're not being sick, that means you don't care about the church. That's not true. It's so important to have boundaries. Even Jesus had time to rest. You know, even God gave us one day to rest. Some people don't rest. They're in a cult, and they're burnt out. They're worn out because they're trying to get approval for. Oh, I'll do it. I do it. So it's so important to it's so important to know that when it comes to, witchcraft, curses, spiritual abuse, rejection, cults, it's so important to understand that if you are going through warfare, sometimes God is pushing you away to leave a church or cult and probably showing you signs. But some people are too scared to leave. They have a trauma bond. They don't want to admit it, but they have a trauma bond. They have a soul tie. They have a unhealthy soul tie, and they think, oh, this is my calling. This is where I'm supposed to be. But sometimes they're in a trauma bond. They're going through chaos. They're going through drama, and they don't want to do the brave move to just go. It's so important to know that you can't put people before God. You can't. It's just unreal. It's just you're gonna lead to burnout. You're gonna lead to burnout. You're gonna lead to depression, mental illnesses, and grudge and bitterness. You're gonna lead to bitterness, and it's gonna lead to warfare, spiritual warfare, because some people, you are trying hard to serve and volunteer, and you're serving in church, you're doing your thing, but some people that hate you for no reason, and if you're not aware that someone's doing witchcraft on you, or someone's jealous and they're being jealous, don't take it lightly. If someone's being jealous and they're throwing indirect shade and digs, they're throwing word curses at you. When it comes to word curses, indirect digs, and they keep putting you down all the time, sabotaging you, trying to embarrass you, trying to shame you, and they're putting you down, and it's harsh criticism. I would pray about that. I wouldn't sit there and think, oh, they're hating on me. It's not good to have haters. Church is supposed to be about fellowship. Church is supposed to be about fellowship and friendship and being honest with each other and building each other up. It's not supposed to be competition. It's not supposed to be cliquey. So it's so important to know that when it comes to, curses, word curses, and all that stuff like that, and indirect digs, it's so important to not take it personally, because some people are very bitter. Instead of going to therapy or getting deliverance and healing at a church, and talking and journaling and going for a nice walk, going to the gym and working out and taking care of themselves, they want to sit there and be a victim. They have bad money habits. They don't know how to control their mouth. They're rude to everybody. They have an attitude. They don't know how to speak to people, and they're just so bitter. And then they sit there, act like the victim, but they don't realize how much damage they've done to somebody. They don't understand how they was like putting people down, and they can't control themselves when it comes to finances, when it comes to their mouth. And oh, poor me, I have money issues, but they didn't have to have money issues. God gave them so much chances to save up, to manage their money well, but they want to play victim and then think, oh, poor me, I'm the victim, and nobody cares. But God gave them so much signs to walk away from certain situations, but they just love being a victim. They love sitting there being a victim, like, oh, there's nothing I could do. It's so important to know that when it comes to Jezebel and the witchcraft spirit and all these sabotaging and humiliation rituals, they don't like seeing you get up and get knowledge. They don't like seeing you get knowledge, get wisdom, set boundaries, heal, and move forward and come out of rebellion. Because some people, when they get hurt, they're going to rebellion and they get bitter. But when you start to heal, when you start to realize that, well, actually, this was not God. This was the devil using them. When you realize that, oh, the devil was actually using them, is you have an awakening. Like, oh, you realize that, oh, actually, they were just bitter. They were just haters, and the devil was using them. It's not about what church you go to, but sometimes the devil can use anybody. Like, he will use anybody just to put you down and say word curses towards you, emotional abuse. So when you get that realization, you start to heal. You start to get that. You get hit with reality. You go. Oh, actually, they was actually just haters. They were just bullies, and I know it could ruin your self-esteem because you see them as a role model. You probably see them as a role model, and if they're talking horrible about you and they're giving you the same word curses, you might think, oh, actually, am I that way? And then you start to have low self-esteem, and you try to build yourself. You're trying to be somebody because they told you you're nobody. They put you down, and you're trying to be somebody now because they put you down. But you were chosen by God, and they were just bitter. They were just traumatized people. They're bitter. The devil used them. So now you can just have that reality now. Now that you know, you can have the acceptance, move forward, step into it, and realize actually, I'm called for a reason. I have purpose. It's so important to know that, because what bitter, broken leaders want you to know, they want you to think that you have to keep asking them for reassurance. Oh, who am I? Who am I? What should I do? Help me. But you never needed their help. So it's so important to heal, know who you are in Christ, your identity, and start walking in your assignment, be in purpose, heal, and build other people up. Build people up. Don't sabotage. I see people sabotaging people because they're bitter. They start sabotaging them because it turned out bad for them. It turned out bad for them. They felt really bad. They feel really bitter. So they started sabotaging other people. They started to sabotage because their light was dimmed. Their light was dimmed. So now they're trying to dim other people's light because their light was dimmed. They got broken themselves. They got humiliated. And now they're going around being bitter and go, I'm going to hurt your life too. My life has been crushed. I'm going to crush your life too. And have that bitterness. Nobody wants to be Naomi giving good advice to Ruth and encouraging Ruth and helping her. People are now destroying people. Everyone will keep talking about Ruth and Boaz, but they're trying to tear people down now because they're bitter. And some people need to wake up and realize that some people are very bitter. They'll sabotage you. They exclude you on purpose, sabotage you, throw shade, find faulting, nitpicking. They'll nitpick. They'll find fault. They will try to make you look like a bad person just because you're going through warfare or you have issues at work. You're going through financial issues. They'll say that they'll gossip behind your back and say you're unreliable and you're doing this, you're doing that. You're in rebellion, but you're human. And they try to sabotage you, make you look bad because they're bitter of how life turned out. But it's never too late. Spirit of rejection will make you feel like it's too late, that you ruined your life, it's too late. That's what spirit of rejection does. It makes you feel like, I already screwed up already. It can't get any better from here. And some people come in and make you feel like that as well because they're suffering with spirit of rejection. It makes you feel like it's over now. I've screwed up already. That's what spirit of rejection wants you to feel like. That it's over. You screwed up. You messed up. That's it. They want you to make you feel like, oh yeah, it can't get any worse than now. Like I screwed everything up already. It's too late. I'm telling you right now, it's not too late. It's not too late. It isn't too late. It's not. Jezebel tries to humiliate you and shame you. Oh, look what you did in the past. Look what you did in the past. And wants to remind you of what you did in the past. All the humiliating things that happened to make you go back there. But you step into your purpose now. You don't have to look back. Any way to look back is when you trying to see what you learnt from. So you can see what you have learnt from. And not what happened in the past and dread it and feel ashamed. Because you're a human being and it's okay and God understands. So I have first one to do in this situation is to get knowledge. Get knowledge, number one. Get knowledge. Figure out what happened. Figure out what the orphan spirit is. What a witchcraft church. What are the signs of a witchcraft church? The familiar spirit, religious spirit. Get a lot of knowledge. The second one is forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You was human. You probably went into a rebellion. You didn't know. You just angry little girl, angry little boy. You're just angry. Forgive yourself. You probably did some things you weren't proud of. Forgive yourself. The third one is to set boundaries. There's going to be people that are going to try to provoke you. There's going to be people that try to shame you, provoke you, and put you down. Set boundaries with people. Just because, you can honour your mother and father. You could love family, but you can still set boundaries. Some people are like, oh, you're ignorant, you're bad, you're horrible, because you don't want to hang out with them all the time. Sometimes you've got to protect your energy and set boundaries. And the next one is keep a healthy distance. Like it's like this other one. Keep a healthy distance. You don't have to always prove to them. Oh, well, I like you. I really do like you. I do like you. You can like someone, but not like their spirit. So just because you're setting boundaries and keeping to yourself doesn't mean you hold a grudge. Doesn't mean you're bitter. Doesn't mean you're resentful, and you don't like them. Sometimes you're just protecting yourself. It's protection. So it's okay to distance yourself. And the last one is find solutions. Always be solution-minded. Don't try to change the person. Don't try to change the person. Go, oh, that person's going to change. I'm going to help them change. No. Just focus on putting God first and finding solutions and keeping your life peaceful. Hope that helped. If you need any counselling or coaching or prayer requests, email me. Thank you for listening. How do I turn this thing off?